Listen, the trauma bonding is serious with this show. I don't know if I'm going to make it through all the episodes. We'll see. Let's check it out. Hey, welcome back everyone to Red Lipstick Reality TV, the Red Lipstick Club. We're back, you guys. I had to do this video. I wanted to make sure I got it out. My review for the Golden Bachelor. This is episode 4 that we are currently on. And you guys, I don't know if this show is rapidly moving because they only got greenlit for a certain amount of episodes, or if they're like, we're too old for this, let's move this along, because the amount of women that are either dropping out or he's sending home is alarming to me. I'm like, I didn't know this type of show went by this quickly and it got dwindled down to so few women so fast. But when I tell you guys, they are jumping out of this show like hotcakes to go home. They are not playing around. They are not sticking around just to be on the television show. If they think this man doesn't want them, they're out of here. So this episode, you guys, we're down to 9, only 9. And we're in episode 4, there's already only 9. The 9 women that are left, I'm going to read them off for you guys. So if you want to go take a look at them on the abc.com website, you can see all the pictures of all the bachelorettes. So we've got left April 65. We also have Ellen, who's 71. We've got Faith, who is 60. We also have Kathy, who's 70. Leslie is 64. We have Nancy, who is 60. We also have left Sandra, who's 75. Susan is 66. And we also have Teresa, who is 70. So there's 9 total. Hopefully I got everybody. 9 total left. So at the beginning of this episode, I didn't realize that basically how they set this up is if you're not in the group date, you're the person that's going to get an individual date with him. So they're all like waiting to like hear the names right off of who's going to be in this group date. And they're like crossing their fingers that their name is not called, because chances are if your name's not called, you're going to get an actual solo date with Gerry. And not all women have actually had a solo date. And it's crazy to think that, because there's only 9 women left and there's multiple women that have not had a solo date with him, and there's only 9 women. So you can kind of tell that this man has been forming attachments, and I don't really know if he's built for this show. I can kind of tell, like, if anything, if you can walk away with anything positive from this show, it feels very genuine from him, because he's not trying to lead these women on. It's either he's into you or he's not. And if you ask him, he's going to tell you, yeah, I'm into you. No, I'm not into you. So I do appreciate that. But there's like nothing left to the imagination when it comes down to the rose ceremony, based off what we've been seeing. So they get to the group date, and the group date's going to be a pickleball tournament. And then we also find out the beautiful Leslie, the fitness instructor, is going to finally get a solo date. And I feel bad that Faith has yet to have a solo date, because from their first interaction in the first episode, Faith just really stood out to me. I just thought that she'd be a great fit for him. And she hasn't had any time with him, really. She hasn't had a solo date. And I'm just shocked that he would give her a first impression rose, but he wouldn't take the time to have a solo date with her. So I just think for me, I would be frustrated too if I was her. Like, what's the point of giving me a first impression rose if you're not going to take me out on a solo date to really get to know me on a more personal level? So I don't know, that's kind of rubbing me the wrong way. But anywho, I still think Leslie is lovely, and she gets a solo date with him, and their solo date ends up being like an off-roading session where they're on like 4 wheels. And I love that he tries to be protective of her and make sure that she feels safe, and they spend some time together, and they get a little romantic moment where she gets to hold on to him from the back. And I think those types of dates are really fun. And as you get older, you want to be more adventurous. Like, you're like, the years are counting down. Like, I don't have as many left. I have way more behind me than I have in front of me. Like, I'm trying to maximize my time on this earth. And so I love seeing that. It seems like Gerry is very active, and he likes to maximize the time that he has left. And I love that about him. And you can also tell that with physical activity, because they're doing this tournament, a pickleball tournament. I don't know if you guys have ever played pickleball. I got into it last summer. I actually love it. It is a workout. But I think that I remember seeing a stat, correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm pretty sure I saw a stat that one of the highest number of emergency room visits by the 60 plus population at this time is from pickleball injuries. I don't know, check that. But I saw that somewhere where like all the emergency room visits right now are literally people over 60 from playing pickleball. So y'all need to be careful out there. If you're going to be on the court, remember that you're over 60. I have to remember my age too. Sometimes it's not always fun, but the body just doesn't move the way it used to. But these women were out there playing, like, and you could tell some of them had never played, but they seemed to pick it up pretty quickly. So they broke up into teams. They had cute little matching outfits. And then, I forget her name, you guys, but they brought back like the original OG Bachelorette that married, I think, the firefighter in Colorado. And they're still together, y'all. 20 plus years later, they're still together. So it does show that in certain circumstances, if you're there for the right reasons, the show actually does work helping you to find the love of your life. So the winners of the pickleball tournament were Kathy and what's her name? Ellen. They were a team together. They were playing, y'all. They were not playing around with this pickleball tournament. They were serious about it. They were focused. They ended up winning. I love that for them. And they got to be featured in like a pickleball magazine. But you know who surprised? Not really surprised me, but Sandra. Sandra reminds me so much of, we're technically cousins, but an aunt of mine. She reminds me so much of her, just her personality and her like fiery spirit. I'm like, oh my God, this reminds me of my family member. But Sandra was out there doing phenomenal too. But we got to call Sandra out, y'all. We find out that Sandra basically said, I'm going to give up going to my daughter's wedding to be on this show. Now, her daughter told her mom, like, hey, mom, I found my guy. You can go find yours. But I'm going to tell you right now, if my mom missed my wedding to go on a reality TV show, we would have words. And I don't know about how Gerry feels. Like, Gerry is really close to his family. And, you know, spoiler alert, he ends up giving Sandra a rose for giving up, you know, this opportunity with her child. But I'm just like, I don't think I'd want to be with somebody that decided this reality TV show opportunity was more important than you being at my wedding. It's just, he's rewarding her, I guess, because she gave up something for him. And she's like, well, look at him. He's happy that I gave something up. But I'm just like, where does that stop exactly? And that would be concerning for me as a kid, is why would my mom think that that's okay? And of course, I'm not going to be like mad at her. I'm going to give her the option. Like, I'm not going to tell her, mom, I'm going to be so upset if you miss it. I'm going to say, well, mom, you know, you need to do what's best for you. And I'm going to see what she does. But I'm not going to tell her what to do. But the fact that she picked a reality show over her daughter's wedding, I don't know. You guys tell me how you feel about that. How do you feel about her picking to be on that show instead of being at her daughter's wedding? Interesting to think about. Anywho, he ends up giving her a rose because of that. He also gives, what's her name, a rose, Leslie a rose that he does his private date with on the four-wheelers. And this is another thing, you guys, that was bothering me about this show, is he's giving away all these roses ahead of time. So by the time we get to the end of the show to do the rose ceremony, half the roses are gone already. So it's kind of eliminated a lot of these people really early on. And I hate that. I really like the process of like, or the element of surprise of the show. So when he starts passing out all these roses quickly, it completely eliminates that for me. And I want him to stop. I'm hoping now that we've gotten down to actually only 6 women now, that will cease. Like, he'll stop giving away roses ahead of time, and it's going to get down to, we actually got to talk. And at the end, and when we do the final rose ceremony, is when all the roses are going to be handed out. Once again, you guys, also in this episode, I don't know why Teresa keeps trying to make Kathy her friend. Kathy doesn't really like you. And I know Teresa seems like a really sweet lady and she wants everybody to like her, but not everybody's going to be your friend. This is, to me, one of those instances where you're dealing with a woman that is very insecure, right? And she is super sensitive around it. And she tries to act like she's not sensitive, but she is. And she has low self-esteem. That's Kathy. So anytime Teresa brings up anything involving her and Gerry and their relationship and how it's going, it sends Kathy into a tailspin, because Kathy knows this man has made a connection with Teresa that he has not made, and I'm sorry, will not ever make with her. I just don't think he was ever into Kathy. I think he kept her around. She was funny, you know, a little entertaining, but as far as romantically, I just could never see it. And so she gets mad again, and she basically tells Teresa, you need to zip it around me when you're talking about you and Gerry. I don't want to hear it. So Teresa ends up talking to Gerry and telling him, like, you know, I'm a pretty open person. I'm not malicious. But Kathy told me I got to zip it when I'm around her. Like, I cannot talk about you and me or what we've done or how it's been. And he ends up bringing Kathy for a talk, and you can tell that Kathy's getting defensive. And I said, girl, you're done. As soon as that conversation happened between Gerry and Kathy, and she started getting defensive about the questions he was asking her regarding how she was interacting with the other women when it came to them speaking about their interactions with Gerry, and how she seemed kind of jealous about a man that she's not even with yet. I think Gerry saw all the red flags, and he said, she gotta go. I knew it was game over for her at that point. And then when she came back, you guys, to the group after she had that talk with Gerry, and they asked her, oh, you had a talk, and she was like, oh no, it went lovely, it was great. She's pathological, y'all. Like, she was trying to basically make it seem like it wasn't a problem. And I'm like, girl, you know Gerry's done with you. It was a mess. So long story short, you guys, we're getting to the end of the show, and before the rose ceremony happens, he's kind of meeting with different women. Oh, he does give our really cute Kris Jenner lookalike Susan a rose quartz, which I thought was really sweet. And I'm glad that he gave her some personalized attention, because she just has such a great personality, and she just seems to really lighten up a room. And I feel like she's great energy, and I just don't think she's gotten enough time. And I think he at least owes her a date before he gets rid of her, because I think she has been extremely patient and fun and friendly and happy to be there. And I think she at least deserves a date before he eliminates her. But I honestly don't see him going very much further with her, but I think she at least deserves that one-on-one time with him. So after that, you guys, they end up getting to the end. We're about to go into the rose ceremony, and then Nancy, who's actually really pretty, like, I actually feel like I had time to finally look at Nancy. Nancy done messed up her foot, y'all, playing pickleball. But I was like, look, here goes the injury. Just what the stats say. You guys injure yourselves playing pickleball. Multiple women ended up getting injured, okay, playing pickleball. And so she basically sits down with him and says, yeah, I think it's like pretty evident that you do not have a romantic connection with me, and you've already kind of weeded down who you're going to pick and be with. And I really admired Gerry in this moment, because he didn't try to manipulate her or gaslight her through this moment. He literally was like, yeah, you're right, I have, and I'm sorry, and you're not wrong for what you're thinking. And it was kind of sad, like she cried a little bit, but I think she probably also appreciated him not dragging her and stringing her along through this, knowing good and well he really had not made any connection to her. Let her go and go home and nurse her foot at this point. So she ended up going home, you guys, early. So she didn't even make it to the rose ceremony. The women are all crying. They're sad. These women have gotten, in my opinion, way too close. Like, girl, well, focus on your man. Focus on the goal. Get your man. These extra friendships are hilarious to me. So anywho, they get you guys to the end. They're giving out the roses. He's passing the roses out, and he ends up eliminating Kathy. Thank you, Jesus. And also that she's a little off to April, who was like the therapist, and she might have just a skosh too much work done, but she was at least entertaining, and she had a great attitude. So I'm sad to see her go, just because she had such a good attitude, and she was kind of funny. And Kathy was funny till she started getting jealous, and then I said, she's got to go. She's jealous now. And I don't know if she could ever get over that. And that just seems like her personality. And I just don't think that works really well with him. He seems like a pretty loyal guy. He doesn't need a jealous woman, because he's going to be a faithful dude. He's going to be there. He doesn't need you to be jealous on top of it. So anyway, you guys, it is down to only 6 women. That's it. And we're only going into episode 5, and it's already down to 6. So the top 6 are, if you want to go look them up, Ellen, Faith, also Leslie. Then there is Sandra, Susan, and Teresa. I don't know, you guys, what's going to happen. I think because it's moving so fast, I'm going to keep reviewing it, because the show honestly isn't that long. I feel like there's probably only a few more episodes left. They'll meet the family, and then he'll make his decision. So I'm not mad about it. It's still been entertaining. It's still fun to watch, and I think it's just a really sweet show. So if you haven't tuned in, you guys, you only have 4 episodes to catch up on. Jump on board. You can jump on Hulu and watch it. Catch up with us. Also, check out my playlist above. You can actually see all the 3 reviews that I've already done, so you can catch up to where we're at right now. Without further ado, you guys, I'm out of here. Hit that subscribe button, like, share my video. Hey, thanks for joining me. I'll see you guys next week. Bye.